Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to Stormy B Man's Raps. We've got news, breaking news from the heavyweight division that Alexander Usyk is vacating his WBO heavyweight title. Alexander Usyk was, prior to this action, the undisputed heavyweight champion. And therefore, with his abdicating, it is elevating Fabio Wardley to the status of WBO heavyweight title representative. This is going to be a quick live. I'm not going to be on here very long. I was going to do a video. I said, I'm not going to set up for a video. I'm just going to go live with this information and express my concerns over this foolishness, as I'll refer to it. There's been too much of this happening in the sport of boxing, to the degree that on one end we're having some breakthroughs with fights being made, matchups that we may not have received outside of the participation of the Saudis, outside of the participation of guys who really want to establish their position in the sport and consider their legacies going forward with their careers. This is just one more instance where the abdication of a title is awarding someone champion status without them having earned it and achieved it by defeating a world title holder. Now, I have nothing against Fabio Wardley, nothing whatsoever. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. He went into a title eliminator bout for the WBO representation against Joseph Parker and defeated him handily. Also, out of that bout came the news just days ago that Joseph Parker had an adverse finding for his day of testing for the fight, popping positive for cocaine. A man who sat around moaning and begroaning that he deserved a title shot had recreational dope in his veins on the night that he fought Fabio Wardley in that title eliminator. So imagine, had he been victorious, you would have been awarding a cokehead with a world title, undeservingly. Come on. The title of this video, what the F is wrong with boxing? Everything is wrong with the sport of boxing. You see, you can't make this stuff up, man. What we are seeing is more and more of what's wrong with the sport on a continuous basis. Now, this article is coming forward through Boxing Scene, and I'm going to read it right along with you, but I didn't get it from Boxing Scene because I received it through someone that I'm subscribed to. I will read the article to you. It's brief, and then I will comment further my thoughts. on this foolishness. Alexander Usyk vacates WBO title. Fabio Wardley elevated from interim. This article by Jake Donovan, 2:11 p.m. Central Standard Time. Today, the only undisputed heavyweight champion of the 21st century has now disrupted his fully unified reign for the second time. You know, the last time he did was last year when he gave up the IBF so that Daniel Dubois could have that title and faced Anthony Joshua for it. Boxing Scene has confirmed that Alexander Usyk has relinquished the WBO heavyweight title in lieu of proceeding with an ordered title consolidation clash. The move will see recently crowned interim belt holder Fabio Wardley elevated and now seen as the solely recognized title holder in the eyes of the Puerto Rico headquartered organization. The WBO has received formal communication from Team Alexander Usyk regarding the future of the WBO Heavyweight Championship, and sanctioning body announced on Monday, after thoughtful consideration, Usyk has elected to relinquish his title. Ukraine's Usyk, who is 24-0 with 15 KOs, was previously ordered to next face Wardley, whose 20 wins, one draw, and 19 KOs, shortly after the unbeaten Brits come from behind 11th round stoppage of New Zealand's Joseph Parker on October 25th in London. Wardley Parker was put together on the promise that the winner would be immediately recognized as Usyk's next mandatory challenger. The condition was put in place after Usyk filed an injury exemption when ordered to face Parker, whose 36 wins, 4 losses, 23 KOs, who held the interim title at the time. It proved to be a double whammy for Parker. The former WBO full title holder, who not only lost his place in line, but is now under investigation by the BBB of C after testing positive for benzoyl, the main metabolite found in cocaine. Meanwhile, Wardley will now enter his next fight as a major title holder after Monday's actions. The move marks the second time in as many years that Usyk has parted ways with an alphabet title after fully unifying the division. Usyk vacated the IBF belt last summer, just 1 month after he defeated Tyson Fury for the first of 2 times. His victory over the previously unbeaten Brit last May 18th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, saw Usyk become the first undisputed heavyweight champion since Lennox Lewis achieved defeat in November of 1999. The belts remain fully intact for only 5 weeks. However, Usyk relinquished the IBF title to allow Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua vie for greater stakes than just an interim belt. The move was made at the time so that Usyk could move forward with a far more lucrative match with Fury, whom he once again defeated last December in Riyadh. Dubois gained recognition as the full IBF titleist and cemented his reign with a 5th-round knockout win over Joshua. The title stay lasted only until his next fight, when Dubois suffered a repeat knockout of defeat to Usyk on July 19th at Wembley. Usyk fully unified the titles once again to become a 3-time undisputed champion spanning 2 divisions. Prior to his 2019 entry into the heavyweight division, Usyk, a 2012 Olympic gold medalist, held all 4 major titles at cruiserweight. His remarkable reign began with a September 2016 win over then unbeaten Krzysztof Glowacki to win the WBO 200-pound title in Poland. The entirety of Usyk's cruiserweight title run took place on the road, including thrice dethroning undefeated title holders Glowacki, Marius Briedis, and Murat Gassiev in their home countries. A champion of champions, the WBO extends its profound respect, admiration, and gratitude to Alexander Usyk. WBO President Gustavo Oliveira said of the unbeaten southpaw, an undefeated, two-division WBO undisputed world champion and a fighter who has earned an exemplified right, privilege, and honor associated with the WBO Super Champion distinction. I'm going to stop right there. This is a lot to unpack. Ladies and gentlemen, Alexander Usyk is playing a game with the heavyweight titles. You see, he has had success in defeating the top guys like Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, even Daniel Dubois. But we have a young heavyweight hopeful on the rise, whom they've deemed to be a white-collar fighter. That's a UK term when they speak of a fighter who hasn't had a great deal of amateur experience. And he has been one of the most exciting, fast-rising fighters in the division in recent memory, even though they are touting Moses Atuma, a 20-year-old heavyweight, as the future of the division. Fabio Wardley happens to be 30, has an unorthodox fighting style and a heavyweight punch that could send you to Mars. There's something terribly wrong with what we're hearing with this news, because today was the day that Usyk would be met with the demand that he face Wardley next. That was what was supposed to come out of today's news. But he had already prepared to tell the WBO he was abdicating their title. With that move, he feels that he at least avoids Fabio Wardley at this time. I don't like it, because Wardley, who has earned the right to fight for the title, just like Ajit Kabiel has earned a right to fight for one of those titles, and they're steady sticking other fights and other circumstances in the way of these men. You see, Terence Crawford wanted to go right after other champions, and they roadblocked him. He went up and did what they thought would be the impossible and defeated Canelo Alvarez. And then all of a sudden they started trying to come up with larger fighters that they felt like, well, Terence should fight this guy or fight that guy. But the thing is, nobody was thinking about Terence before he defeated Canelo. People were arguing against him even deserving to be in the ring with Canelo. We were called stupid for thinking that he would have a chance. I think people are stupid if they think that Usyk is really representing the sport well. He may be a nice guy. He might even be likable. There was video recently of Terence Crawford having visited him over there in Europe somewhere, where they were kidding around and joking and lapping it up and taking photos and videos with one another. Two undisputed champions. But the external appearance of these guys is not the only thing that's differing. What's inside is differing as well. I am on to the bull crap. Usyk is being used, people. You now have recently heard that Jake Paul is fighting Anthony Joshua Friday, December 19th in an 8-rounder. Just did a video earlier on that. Joshua, who hasn't fought since September 2024, when he was blasted out in 5 by Dubois, didn't take a rematch with Dubois. Later discussed that he had some kind of undisclosed injury that he needed to recover from, and so has been out of the ring for over a year. Well, now he's going to fight Paul, and Paul is not a ranked heavyweight contender by any means. So guys like Moses Atuma, who's going to now face Jermaine Franklin, whom Joshua fought already, they don't get a chance to go in and get that with Joshua. But Jake Paul does, to the upwards of multi-millions. I've heard something in the ballpark of 80 for AJ. Almost a decade ago, he was guaranteed 50 against Deontay Wilder, and he walked away from that. So Usyk freeing up the WBO title for Fabio Wardley. Let's see who the WBO says that Wardley has to face now. But this is the real glitch in the matrix for these guys. There's a lot of people that don't want to face Fabio Wardley. Now, I believe that Adji Cabiel would get in there with him, bar none. But there are other so-called contenders and pretenders out there who are by any means interested in facing that young man. The fact that these belts get vacated so a fighter doesn't have to face the opposition, it does damage on several ends. First of all, the guy who would be challenging for the title is damaging to him because he wants the legacy of having won a world title from a champion. And we could consider Usyk being a champion since he is a multi-division and multi-time over undisputed fighter. So the fact that you cannot face that guy, because you know why? Facing him, win, lose, or draw, you garner the respect for your position in the sport. If you're victorious, it elevates your status in the sport of respectability. If you lose, you still gave it the college try. Secondly, the sanctioning bodies get a chance to dine with those percentages of those belts. Because though you might be the mandatory of the WBO, he's undisputed, so the other belts are on the line as well. If he loses, they all reap and they all eat. Lastly, to not have won a belt from a reigning Titlist champion there's not a lot to respect for your position. And so people, the public sentiment isn't there when it should be. So we are seeing this pattern throughout the divisions of the sport. I can understand title holders who are advancing from one weight class to another and wants to hold on to that belt until they get into a position to challenge for that next division's title, because that's bargaining leverage for purses, percentages, and things like that. I can understand that. And then a title is relinquished. But when you're the sitting champ, you've already given the public and the sanctioning bodies some goofball crap about you couldn't make a fight right away because you were healing from surgery or something. But we saw you on some kind of variety show dancing and yucking it up, having a great time. Are you place holding now for AJ and Fury? Maybe they'll come back sometime in 2026 and fight for that vacant title, because some way you'll find a way to lift it from Wardley, because you know they'll do that too, because Wardley doesn't have that bargaining power, so they could lift the title and strip him, just like they handed it to him, and give that status to someone else. Remember, he didn't win it in the ring. I've seen them do that too. Strip a guy who didn't even get a chance to defend the belt or anything. This is what they do. These are the games that they play. So what we're seeing here is more of the same. This is not something that's respectable, people. It is not. I do believe that the WBO is salty. They're salty because their man, Joe Parker, Tony Montana, has been embarrassed. Now, what do you say? Well, how can they be salty and award Fabio? Watch the demands that are placed on Fabio that hasn't been placed on anyone else. Now, Fabio is the kind of guy, he'll get in there with whoever. He has that type of disposition. But they don't make them like that too much anymore. There are only a handful of these guys sprinkled throughout the sport, and they can't fight in every division for every title, so it's rare. You have guys who embrace the opportunity to have a title, just like Zurdo Ramirez, who is in no hurry to face David Benavidez. But he chomped at the bit to get in there against the limited CBS, Chris Billum-Smith. He skipped right over the light heavyweight division, you guys. Remember that? He got the hell out of Dodge. Oh, he was supposed to avenge Canelo. Remember that? But David Benavidez was right there, so he went on up to cruiserweight. But guess what? David is coming to cruiserweight. So you might as well take your lazy behind on up to heavyweight where you truly belong, Zerto. But then you'll have Zai Opataya issues as well, because Zai is going to be moving up to that division very soon. And you will see. The world will see. This is a bunch of bull crap, people. A bunch of bull crap. Thus, my title of this video, what the F is wrong with boxing? Every time we make some positive moves, my allergies are acting up. That's why my eye is itching like it is. So forgive me. I'm rubbing my eye, which I shouldn't be doing. This is uncalled for. Totally uncalled for. We don't need this. We need the matches made. We need the fighters to be in the ring. We need to be able to make the distinction between who's best and the rest. We need that immediately. ASAP Rocky. That's what we need. I couldn't wait to make the video for another day. This was just one of those things. I said, man, you know what? It's got to be said. It's got to be, I had to come out and say something. Go into the chat and see who we got in the building. T-Berry is out there early. What's good with you? Eric Jordan is in the building. Columbia 219. Quan Big Guns. Adrian Viet, what's good? Jamal Davis. Mr. Shelton. Lewis Hinton. Kamara the Stepping Razor, what's good? Isaiah GQ, salute to you. I had to say something about this, you guys. You know, like I said, this was going to be a quick live. I've already been on here 30 minutes, and that's too damn long for what I wanted to say about this. But this has to stop. We need to protest. We need to let these sanctioning bodies know that they can't just throw these things at us like this and be like, give fighters secret passages and escape routes out of defending honor. It's just like the fighters who were all scheduled to fight on November 14th on Jake Paul, Tank Davis card. And when Tank Davis blew everything to hell, all those fighters who were training, putting in camps and working hard for their night, it just went to kaput. over Tank Davis, who don't even love the sport, the people that support, who doesn't even care, asking you to kiss his derriere? To hell out of here, man, with these people. And now Usyk is giving away belts like cotton candy, at the carnival, because this is a fucking circus. I'm gonna go chill for a minute. I'll be back with my nerd show with Drew Titan this evening, 8 p.m. Central. But I had to come out here and say something. Please share the video. I want people to see this. I want people to see exactly what the hell is going on and why my displeasure with it exists. Because this is not real boxing. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. We're going to get on up out of here. Peace.